Hi, Growing Minds and Muscles. As promised, we are starting our 3-day masterclass, Rewire Your Health. I am so excited to spend the next 3 days going through some really powerful content. So if you are on, simply put up a heart, an emoji, anything to let me know you're here. I see a couple people that have joined. I'm going to try to keep these to about 20-minute segments because I know everybody's time is valuable and precious. Give you some time to answer questions at the end. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Shannon Jo Hyam. I am a certified fitness and wellness instructor. I teach a ton of different modules to my paid group, Unleash Your Potential. I provide a lot of things for you in this group, Growing Minds and Muscles, to better your health and wellness. And I coined it Growing Minds and Muscles for a reason, because I want us to be growing more than just our muscles. I want us to be growing our minds and awareness. And really, the Rewire Your Health is what I named this masterclass, is all in our minds. And it's also really having tough discussions with ourselves, tough negotiations with ourselves, and to understand that most of the time we're the ones holding ourselves back. And so to start it off, I want you to really coin in on this thought that you do not want to outlive your health. And that is a very powerful statement. Aloha, Anna. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad you're on. So again, you do not want to outlive your health. You do not want to be living in a body that is unhealthy and outliving that process and living in this vessel that is unhealthy. So over the course of the next 3 days, day number 1, we're going to look at the 8 anchors of your health. Day number 2, we're going to go really deep into self-sabotage. And day number 3 is going to be your time to have questions and answers, and for me to provide some knowledge about how I coach and what the program Unleash Your Potential looks like. So jump in at any time, ask questions. I'll answer them in the morning. I'll answer them late tonight. For some of you, it's 8 p.m. For me, it's 4 p.m. Tomorrow, I will be noon. And so then maybe I'll hit some of you on your lunch hour. So here we go. I want you to imagine yourself that you are the boat and you are your vessel. And for me, having lived on islands and being around a lot of boats and actually living on a boat for part of my life, then the vessel is so important. And so that's how I coined my program and really came up with the 8 anchors of health, is because a lot of people have pillars of health, and that's great, but it always made me feel like you had to build. And like the anchors make me feel like you already have them equipped in your boat. You just have to throw them over and use them. And so I want you to visualize the boat. And when you are on a boat, if you've been on a boat, and you throw one anchor in, then that's great. So it secures your boat so you're not going all over the place, but your boat's still rocking around, right? It's going around that anchor line. It still has the ability to move, to tip, to sway. So a lot of times when people want to really anchor well, or if the seas are a little higher, they'll also throw the anchor out both the bow and the stern. And so that way it's secured a little bit more. So we have 2 anchors holding us down. And that's great. That's wonderful. But that boat still can tip and go this way. And so one thing that came to mind is I used to live on a boat. I used to teach a family on a yacht, which was a great adventure. And our first year out, from our personal experience, we had our anchors out both ways, but when it was rocky, it still was swaying. Nobody was sleeping. Things were clunking around. Things were breaking in the kitchen. And so then they put on what are called stabilizers on the side of it. And so those stabilizers then kept that boat, even in the strongest storms or seas, from tipping too much because they were constantly stabilizing. And so that's where those 8 anchors that I'm going to talk to you about are stabilizing your vessel, which in theory is your body or your boat. Otherwise, if some of those anchors aren't out, you have the chance of tipping, filling with a little water. If a lot of them aren't out on one side or the other, you can completely capsize. Hence why when there are hurricanes or major rough seas, there's sea warnings. We don't even have boats out there, right? And so they come into a safe harbor and they latch on, so they're secure, and so they're stable. And that's how you want your health and wellness to be. You want to be this boat with all your anchors out, with every tool possible in your use, available to you. And let me tell you, like, none of these are going to be rocket science. They're going to be things I've talked about all, but they cohesively come together. None of these are going to be things that you can't do, that you're not capable of doing. But I'll tell you, most of the time when I come across, even with the people that are still in my paid program, they're not using all these anchors, okay? They're using parts of them. And every single person that signs up to work with me first is motivated by the motivation to lose weight. And I get that. That's why I signed up to do things. That's why I took on my health journey, is because I knew that I needed to live in a better vessel. I knew my boat was rocking all over. I knew that I needed to heal myself. I knew there was something off. And so I have become my own captain, and I've taken charge of that, and through that taken so many courses, listened to so many motivated speakers, gotten into so many different programs so I could learn more to serve you and to serve the people that I work with. But everybody has different anchors that they need to work on. And so that's why when you get into these programs that are just, let's do a 30-day, let's do, 10 to 20 days of this, let's do 30 days of this, and let's just give you a meal plan and you get a workout and off you run. That is why most of us don't succeed, because those aren't enough of the anchors. Those aren't securing our boat and our vessel for long-term health and wellness. And again, like I stated very strongly, you do not want to outlive your health. You do not want to be living in pain. You do not want to be living through cancer. You do not want to be living through dialysis. You do not want to be living through chronic pain and things that are going to inhibit you from living a great life. And so we have a choice every single day to throw all those anchors out and do our very best to balance our boat. So I'm going to get right to it. The first one is one that, yes, is in most programs, is fuel. Fuel for your boat. You're not going to put milk in your boat. You're not going to put oil in your boat. You're not going to put substances in your boat that don't make the engine run. So why would you do it to your body? It just makes sense. You don't go to the gas station and you don't fill up your car and put a bunch of crap in your car, else it won't work. And so we need to look at that as being whole foods. We need to look at limiting dairy, gluten, alcohol. I've spoke to this a lot. Organically produced, or really knowing where your meats come from. If you're going to be a meat eater, being plant-based for 80% of your time and making meat more your condiment is so important. And having diversity, that diversity for your gut biome, for your gut health, for your vitality, to help all the good guys and beat all the bad guys. So that's number one, fuel. Number two is movement habits. So your sea legs. If you've been on a boat for a long time, you get those sea legs where you're wobbly, where you're not strong, where you get off land and you're not orientated. And the same thing happens when our bodies aren't in movement. We were not made to be stationary. We were not made to be sedentary. We were made for movement. We were made with an Achilles tendon. We were made with body parts that work so strongly and support each other, both our front muscles and our back exterior muscles, to complement each other. Like, none of this was done just sporadically and us thrown together. We were engineered to be in movement. We were engineered to be standing and walking, and we have hip joints, and we have our shoulders, and we have all these things to our abilities, but we have to be using them. And so that means, yes, honey. I'm not sure, we don't have them right now, okay? Sorry. So we need to have one movement that's at least 30 minutes a day. At least. We need to be getting our steps. We need to have diversity in our movement so we don't get bored. And we need to have something that we enjoy, because nobody enjoys just going and doing 2 hours of cardio. I don't know one person on the planet that's like, I want to do cardio for 2 hours every single day. That is like insanity. So we need to find things that work for us, and we can skip them out and try new things. The third anchor that you need to have is your sleep patterns. It is crucial for women. It's let the waves lull you. So if you've been on a boat and you sleep well to that movement, you know that feeling of a great night's sleep. And so you cannot expect to go to sleep with things on your mind. You cannot expect to go to sleep with devices in your room. You cannot expect to get good sleep when you haven't done movement or done fuel. You see, they all connect. This is all interconnected. You can't just have one without the other. And so we need nighttime routines so that we can shut down. We need to try to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep, consistent sleep for 2 to 3 days without sleep, we automatically wreak havoc into our hormones, into our fat breakdown and ability to get rid of fat in our body. So we need to make sure that we are consistent. We need blue blockers. I have a daytime pair, and I think back here my nighttime pair, unless my kids, sometimes they use it. So you can see the difference in the colors, okay? So the daytime, and you can get some that are dual. I just happen to have both sets. So those are great to do when if you put your device down, you're still watching TV. And then making sure your electronics are out of the room and away from you. Number 4, stress management. Allow the waves to crash is what I find it. And so we have got to, in this world of chaos, in this world that's coming at us, that's so fast-paced, be able to settle down, be able to get into our parasympathetic system, be able to find ways to utilize our breath work. I speak to it a lot. We need to be able to get into meditation and practices that are not just for gurus or for yogis or for Buddhists. Meditation is for everyone. Even if you practice religion, you can be meditating in prayer. Meditation is a strong form of utilizing everything in our minds and rewiring them so that we are more successful. Mindful breaks, getting up from your office, getting out into nature, doing things that are mindful instead of just being in rote, habitual patterns. We need to be really intentional about what we're doing each day. Number 5, spiritual connection. And again, I don't want this to scare people and be like, I have to be religious. I have to be. The spirituality is far from that. Spirituality means you're having a connection somewhere. Spirituality is let the stars navigate you. Let there be something that you believe on beyond yourself, beyond our atmosphere, and whatever that is. But you have to have those connections to motivate you past where you are today, to give you faith, to give you hope, to give you something else beyond the sphere of just your vessel. Because we can't do this all alone. We can't do it and have expect everyone else outside of us, our friends, our family, to motivate us. There has to be stronger ties to something you believe in, that's something that gives you the fire inside. And that is something you need to find on your own. It doesn't have to have a religious label, and it can be mixes and mashes, but you need to have some trust and something of why you're here and where you're going. Number 6 is mindset matters. So your trust, your radar. If you've been on boats, the radar is the computer, and it's telling you everything that's coming your way. And the same thing with your mind. Our minds are the most powerful things and the least tapped into and the least able to even understand. Like right now, they can't even tell when you're having conscious thoughts. They've done a million experiments on this, and they can't tell when you're consciously thinking of something, even like if someone's in a coma or something like that. They can't tell when things come from your subconscious to your conscious. Like there's nothing on a scan that is proving that you're consciously thinking about it. They can tell that there's a million subconscious thoughts, but they don't know when they come to our conscious awareness. The only thing that's been really studied strongly is the awareness of rewiring, like I like to call it, or looping, or being able to repeat patterns so that those subconscious things come into our conscious minds and they become firm in our habits and in how we look at ourselves and how we treat others and how we go about the habits in our life. And so we have to be this growth mindset. We have to be ready to try new things. We have to be ready to break out of old patterns. We have to be aware that there's more out there than where we are now, that nothing mediocre was set for us, that staying mediocre is such a very, very stagnant, secure in some ways position, but nothing that's going to break you out into an uncomfortable growth pattern. Subconscious, conscious mind, like I spoke to, finding out how to find a pattern for you with SMART goals and daily mantras and habits that you use so that it's wired in your mind. So when your response comes to that, it doesn't come to an old pattern that you had previously. It comes to the pattern that you currently are working towards in your pattern loop in your brain. Number 7 is self-love, acceptance, becoming your captain. And for so many of us, that has taken me a very long journey. And I speak to lots of women. I think it happens more so in this 40s category, but we could be doing it so much sooner. And we have the power to share with our daughters or with our nieces or with friends that we're mentoring. because we should be mentoring younger women that are going through things that we already had gone through. That should be part of our growth process too. And so when we look at becoming your own captain, you are going to trust your intuition. You're going to trust your inner voice. You're going to be clear on your intentions and who you put in your room and at your table. Okay? You are the captain. You get to hire all those people outside of you that are going to be in your circle, at your table, and on your boat. And this, I cannot stress enough, the amount of time it takes to set those boundaries, to stop putting yourself at the table of those that are going to speak behind your backs or not better you. Because those people are not going to keep going on your journey, and they're not going to let you set yourselves, and they're not going to help you grow. You're going to stay stagnant, mediocre, unhappy, unhealthy, because people don't want you to succeed. That's just known. When people see you going and changing your habits, they make fun of them, or they make digs, passive aggressive digs, or they just plain like come out with like, why would you be doing that? Especially when, because we work with fasting in my program with fasting, that you're just starving yourself. There's always the comments because they're not ready to accept it. They're not a road you're on. And you're going to surpass when you are really healthy and when you're a captain of your vessel and you're incorporating all these anchors and throwing them out and securing yourself with a healthy lifestyle that's going to last and going to take the test of time no matter what comes your way. Those people are not going to be on your boat. They're just not. And that's hard. And that's a lot of work on boundary building, self-awareness, being able to be positive with your body as it is today. Because today is not where I necessarily want to be. But today I had to get up and look in that mirror and say, I love this aspect. I love that. I love that I got out this morning with intention and busted my butt. I love that I can run with my kids. I love these things. And not picking apart every day that I look in the mirror with what I don't love. So self-love and acceptance, becoming that captain, is a very difficult step to get to and throwing the anchor. But once you get there, you can just conquer so many things. Last is healing journeys. And this one is, again, I put these at the end because usually we have to go through a lot of the other things to really get to 7 and 8 in the anchors ready to throw them. And a lot of times we throw them and then we wheel them back in and then we throw them and we wheel back in. And that's okay because that's part of this all. This journey of health and wellness is not for those that want quick fixes. That's not for those that want to go to their class reunion skinnier or want to fit into a dress for New Year's Eve. This is not the coach for you, and this is not the program for you, and this is not the group for you. This is a group made to be growing all aspects of our life. And so our healing journey is that we get to make new maps. We get to take new adventures that we didn't even know existed. We get to chart our courses. And that, friends, is like the powerhouse, the Mecca, like I am there, and then I get to push on. And that's where we start to really dive into things that we told ourselves when we were 13 or we heard. Because most of those messages, if we didn't heal them, we're telling ourselves at 23 and 33 and 43 and 53 and all down the road. Those are things that we didn't heal from. Self-sabotage comes in so quickly, and that's why I'm going to do the workshop tomorrow night on it. It is the one that pulls that anchor in and throws it out and pulls it in. And we have to dig into that. We have to dig into our triggers. I've spoken to that before. And our trauma from our past, things that we haven't healed from. That's the healing journey. And that's the last step, because when we're eating well and we're exercising, we've learned stress management and our mindset is growing and we got the right people in our boat and we're sleeping so well with the waves and we're loving ourselves again, then there's just that little bit, that thorn that stays there. And, you kind of equate that to a thorn in the last section. If you had a thorn in your foot, you don't just let it stay there forever and ever and ever. You soak it in Epsom salt. You try to do something. And those are the same things from trauma. We have to figure out how to soak with Epsom salt and get you to a place that you're charting courses without those triggers, traumas, without self-sabotage, without the negotiations. And so those are the 8 things that I really believe are the center of living a lifestyle. Those are the anchors that keep your boat from turning over, from slowly filling with disease, from being just floating out. Sometimes people don't have any anchors and they're just floating through life. You don't want to float through life. You don't want to live mediocre. And you certainly don't want to outlive your health, like I spoke about. I keep coming to that. I heard that quote a couple of days ago and I was like, wow, that's powerful stuff. I don't want to live in a body that's failing me. I don't want to live past that. I hope that I live to a place where enough is enough. And I've done all that I can to live in the best possible boat and vessel that I was given, and that I'm not getting to a place where I'm on tons of prescription drugs or where I am, having to seek different methods that I don't believe in to try to cures that are just making me sick all over again. And so we have a choice every single day to secure our boats with these anchors. And again, none of this, I'm sure, is like, oh my gosh, that was mind-blowing. Maybe how it approach or to think about it is more mind-blowing. But it's all things that are there, and none of that really costs any money. The problem is that we don't, as individuals, do it on our own. There's very few people intrinsically can put all this together and just do it. You have to have mentors. You have to have coaches. You have to have groups like this. You have to have, again, be putting your mind, your body, your soul into places that are going to grow you, that you're going to seek the best knowledge, that you're not going to be going in these roller coasters of seeking the fast action, but really realize that all those fast actions still left you where you are today, because I had dieted forever. I did all the programs. I think most of us in this room have. I've gotten to a place where many of you were fine doing it for a very long time. Then you hit your 40s and perimenopause, and all of a sudden, wow, it doesn't work to just, not eat sugars for a week. I don't cut the 20 pounds like I used to. It doesn't work just to watch what I eat, because it isn't all about that. It's not just about food. It doesn't work just to go kill ourselves in the gym anymore. It doesn't work to not have all of our anchors and all the things working to create a healthy body. So I'm super excited. If you have any questions or any comments or anything spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you. I see Gidget, I see on there now that I've pulled through. Meditation's hard. It was really difficult for me, if you're still on, to get to a place because I didn't like quiet, or I thought meditation had to be where I'm like, and zoning out. And I really realized meditation was about practice, just like anything else. It was about every day getting in for 2 to 5 minutes to being able to, start to relax my body and start to just listen and to my breath. I do a lot of guided meditation still, because meditation for me is not as easy to do on my own. So I hope that helps. If you also look in the comments, you could put, all of you that are in the group, new or old, you can put in the chat bar and there's a little place to search, a search engine, and you can put meditation. There's some free meditations up there. So that is great, though, because I don't think any of us feel very comfortable unless we started out meditating at a very young age to go into meditation. But it's really critical for our awareness, for gratitude, for Thanksgiving, for all the things in our lives to come together cohesively. So thank you, Fran, for this. I love this too. Thank you to those. I saw quite a few people jump on. I'm really excited to see you all. I hope if there's anything ever that you want in this group, always contact me, because I'm happy to share that. Tomorrow is going to be all on self-sabotage. It's a tough one. Not going to lie, it's a workshop that some of us don't like to look at. It happens 90, I would say, 80% of the time. The reason you're not meeting or making your goals is self-sabotage. It has nothing to do with a program. It has nothing to do, sometimes even with you. You've been taught self-sabotage your whole life. And it has nothing to do with like what you're putting in your body or those sorts of things. It's very, very internal. It's a lot of subconscious stuff. It's a lot of mind stuff. And that's, again, why it fits really nice in this master class of Rewire Your Mind and Rewire Your Health and all the things. So thank you tonight for your time. Again, self-sabotage will be at noon, and then we will be back Thursday in the evening for those of you that are in evening time, and we will be focusing on question answer session. I'm going to roll out what I have planned for the fall and what I've been working on. If you're not on my email, please make sure you drop me a note. I put a lot of information there, and I'll have all sorts of replays of these. I'll have a worksheet that I'm offering on sabotage assessment and plans and other things to give. So thank you again. I hope you have a great evening. I kept it to 23 minutes. I think that's pretty good. I'll try to keep them around there. I get really fired up and excited about things. But again, thank you. Have a great night, and I hope that you're just looking at all those anchors. I will also put up a list of them, and that you're delving into which anchor that maybe needs to be thrown out of your boat. So have a great night.